Yes, Abdul.
Okay. Yeah. So we were speaking about Agile and the processes in Agile. So we'll carry on our discussion. So this is where we will discuss about what an epic is and what is a user story, what's the feature, and how do we create these things on the portal, on Azure DevOps portal, and how do we work on it in the planning meeting. So today we will concentrate more on planning meeting because that's a key meeting where you take all the inputs from all the users and team. So we just done that. So what's an epic? Epic compromises of a very global and not very well defined functionality in your software. That's a classical definition of epic. So what does it mean? So essentially you don't have a well defined or well crafted functionality which you are having. It will be a vague description like what I have given you previously about authentication. So I want to authenticate. I want to enable authentication in my application. So what kind of authentication? It will not speak about it. So what is the kind of what are the questions which will raise when a epic is created like that? So what is the kind of authentication you want? Is it email authentication or username authentication or phone number authentication or your social accounts authentication, like your Twitter, Google, Facebook? What is the kind of authentication you want? So what is it that you want to enable in your application? So there are many questions which come when I vaguely say something, and Epic usually vaguely says something wherein even the PO doesn't have clarity. The PO also, he or she wants to discuss this with the technical lead or the architect and understand how they can go forward about it. That's what would be the epic. So, as you can see from the example there, what is the epic which we are declaring here? There is my mouse. So, what is the epic which we want to declare? Allow the customer to manage its own account via web. Seeing it in the epic, but how do you want to allow it? There are many questions which are raising this question. Your feature and your user story are more specific functionality that you can easily test and accept. So your user story and your feature will describe this epic more clearly. So what is it that your feature will say? Getting the customer information from the web portal. User stories tend to express what the user wants to do. So what is the user story saying here? As a bank clerk, I want to be able to modify the customer information so that I keep it up to date. I don't think that there is really a hierarchy between the two. So essentially, whenever you are declaring something of this sort inside your user story, you are becoming more and more specific as you go down the layer. Epic is more generic. Feature is somewhat clarity, and but not that much clarity. User story gives more clarity of what your requirement is. So as and when you move down the layers, it will be more and more clear what you are saying in an epic. So essentially, if you just go back and speak about authentication stuff, I'll go to boards. This is where my This is where my PO or product owner comes, and he goes ahead and issue in the application. So just a minute. Yeah, there was a background noise, so I just muted it. So enable authentication in the application. That is what is my requirement. All of these are very important fields. So I will say, what is it saying? I muted it. So whenever there is some background noise, vendors going here and there, I just muted because they are very noisy. So I muted it on purpose. So you have the reason. What is the reason which you are creating? You are just creating it new. Then you have description. This is where your PO would go ahead and describe what he wants inside it. So you would say something like enable authentication in the application so that the user is Lakshminarayana left. What is that? Let me just check. So the user is able to log in and log out of the portal. So that is what I'm saying inside the. That is what I'm saying inside my Epic. So I'm just giving a vague description. And if at all there are any discussions happening, there is if at all you have your teammates discussing on this issue, then all the discussions are being posted here. So you will post all your discussions inside this box. There is any clarifications which you want from the PO. All of those will be posted here inside the discussions box. So that is how your Epic is looking like, and I'm giving it a priority. As we have said, priority is essentially how soon do I want. 2 is moderate. 1 is high priority. That is, I want it immediately. So essentially, 1 is a high priority which I give. Let us say that this is a high priority ticket or high priority epic which I want to resolve immediately. So I'll be just saying 1 there. And then what is the risk factor? That is how risky it is for me to not release it. So I want it to be released immediately inside the production. So what will I say as a PO? I'll go ahead and say hi. I'll say hi. Yeah, sorry, message. So I'll say hi. Here I will put the effort which it takes to complete it. As a PO, I don't know the effort. It is the engineers who will tell me what is the effort it takes. So I'll leave it as blank. Business value, yeah, depending upon your numbering, I will be saying it as high business value. Time critical, yeah, I will be saying it is time critical. And what is the start date and target date which I want this to be completed. Start date, I want it to be started immediately now, and I want it to be completed by 24th of May. That is what I'll say. So what is the business value? Is it what is the classification which it is on? Is it business value use case or is it an architectural use case? Only 2 segregations here. So I believe this is a business value use case than an architectural use case. I'll leave it as is. These are the fields which the PO would populate, and then go ahead and say save. I saved the user story or the epic. I saved the epic. Now the epic, this is how it is. The epic would be broken down into features, and the features would be broken down into user stories, and the user stories are broken down into tasks. That's what we are doing. Once the epic is created, it is the technical lead who comes up. So epic is created by the PO. Now the technical lead comes in, and he starts declaring features for this epic. So he will go ahead and create a feature. So in the feature, the first thing what he can think of by looking at this epic, let me just open the work items in the new tab so that I can show that epic as well. So what is the epic we have? Enable authentication in the application. How to enable it? I will say enable user authentication using mail address. So I'm just saying enable user authentication using mail address. In the description, I'll go ahead and say what is the way in which this has to be enabled. So I'll go ahead and say create a database table to hold user information and create a form to enter the user information, and then once it is done, authenticate the user using the mail ID. Pretty simple. If you don't understand it, just ask me. I'll just explain what I'm saying inside this. I'm just saying create a database table to hold the user information. Then I'm saying create a form to enter the user information and then authenticate the user using the mail ID. So the feature is somewhat more descriptive than the epic. In the epic, I got some clarity, not totally, but feature is somewhat more clear. And again, because this is where your technical lead is coming, your TR. So this guy, again, because the priority of the story is epic is 1, I am also keeping it as 1. The one thing which we do here, whenever we are here, the one thing which we do, we will add a related item. What is the related item which we want to add? We want to add it as a parent. Which one? This guy. This is very important whenever we are creating a feature. We will link the items. Now if I say OK, you see this feature is belonging to this epic, is what it is saying. Now if I just refresh this epic, you see anything here? Related work item, you see anything here? Nothing, right? If I refresh this. You should get that. 1 second. Did I save it? Oh, I did not save it. I saved it now. Let me refresh it. You got the enable user authentication user story in the child. Who is the parent? This guy is the parent. What is it saying here? Child. What is it saying here? Parent. If you don't see it, I do not have a scroll bar. I do not have the scroll bar to scroll and show you. So you see the parent here. So this guy is created as a child for the epic which we created. Let me go back. Now you have a feature and a epic. Let me create one more feature. What is this feature? Again on this epic, enable authentication. Authenticate the user with social media accounts. So I'm just going ahead and saying authenticate the user using social media accounts. In the description, I'll be more descriptive. What do I mean by that? The user should be able to log in to the website using Google account or Facebook account or Twitter account. So the user should be able to log in using any of the social media accounts. I am being more specific. Is it a clear user story or a feature? Yeah, it's pretty clear. What I want to do, I'm very clear inside this feature. I'll go ahead and save it. So while saving it, I also need to add it to an existing item. I'll go ahead and add it to the, not this, I'll go ahead and add it to the epic. Those are my two features which I created. Now if I just save this, go back to work items. If I look at my epic, we have both the features which I have created as children to the epic. So look at the hierarchy. The hierarchy is pretty clear. You are having a epic, and then you are having feature story. What did I say? Your features are created by the technical lead. Then comes the user stories. Here is where you would be having your planning meeting. At the beginning of the sprint, that is, if we are beginning at today, the 9th of May, the beginning of the sprint, you would be having a meeting which is called as planning meeting. In the planning meeting, your technical lead will show this feature. These features. He will just go ahead and say there are two features which are available in this epic. In the enable authentication epic, there are two features which are available. Tell me who wants to take it. So it will be the call of the team. Let us say there are two software engineers, so that we keep the use case simple. There are two ACs. That is your software engineers. There are two software engineers who are present, who are working on, who are ready to work on these user stories. So in the planning meeting, the technical lead will say who wants to take which user story. This user story number is 36. This user story number is 37. Let us say SE1 takes 36 and SE2 takes 35. Both of them take one user story each, and they will start working on those user stories. One feature each, they will start working on those features. In the planning meeting itself, they will create user stories for these features. What is the first feature which SE1 has taken? 36. They will just click on that. Enabling authentication using mailing address. Now he will start creating user story for this feature. How would he do that? He will go ahead, click new work item, user story, give a title. So what is this work item doing? Enabling authentication in the application. Enabling authentication using mail address. That is what this guy has taken. Enabling authentication using mailing address. This 36. That is what this guy has taken. Now I want to create a user story out of it. It is my responsibility as a software engineer to create a user story for this. User story will be more specific than this, than a feature. Now I want to create a user story for this. I will say that use mail address authentication. The mailing address can be Gmail. The allowed mailing addresses are from Gmail. It is not Gmail. Gmail comes to the next feature. There is a mailing address. It is org mailing address, which has to be used when this user story is being created. So what will I say in the description? I'll just say it in a more descriptive fashion. Here it is scripted, so I will say it in a more descriptive fashion. Let me just type it. So what is the organization mailing address? Let us say analyst era. So your analyst era would have mailing addresses. So people of analyst era would be having mailing addresses like @analystera.com, right? So I'll be saying users with the ending of @analystera.com, they should be allowed to create the user accounts. That is what is my user story. So I am creating a user story here. What is this user story related to? It is related to this feature, enable user authentication using mailing address. Let me link that feature. Look at how links are being created using a mail address. I'll say OK. I created a user story. Who did the user story? It is the SE. It is a software engineer who did the user story. Once user story is done, now he needs to create from the user story. He needs to go ahead and create the tasks for this user story, for the mailing address user story. What will he do? New work item, task. Here he will go ahead and create the task. What is the task? Create user information entry page. What does that mean? Whenever I want to sign up a user, I need to create a entry page where the user can sign up. What do I mean by that? Gmail.com. I don't have any user. I'll say create account. Look at what it is giving me. It gives me a create account form. That is what I am doing here. Create user information entry page, or if you don't understand page, form. I am creating this page, user entry information page. What will this have? The user information entry page will have fields like first name, last name, the following fields. What are the fields? First name. I hope you are getting it. Otherwise, just tell me. I'll explain it more clearly. First name, last name, and email address. And a password and confirm password. These are the things which it needs to have. I'll just create it in a clean fashion so that it's easier to read and understand. So the user information entry page will have the following fields, all of this. And I'll create a task. Within what? Within this head. For this user story, I am going ahead and creating a task. What is the first task which I created? Create user information entry page. This is the first task which I created. Next task. you will keep on creating as many tasks as you want as a software engineer. So I'll go ahead and say another task, and I'll go ahead and say what is the next task which I want to create. This page, this information has to be stored somewhere. Whenever I enter this information, where will I enter? Where will I enter this information? I'll enter it in the form. I'll have a form. This is the form I'll have. Let me just show it that way itself. First name, last name. I'll have a email address. Then I'll have password. And then I'll have a confirm password. So I'll have a form like this, exactly like this. This form is on the client side. This form would be posted to the server. Once I say submit, next, I will be posted to the server. So the server should take this form and store it in the database. I'm done with this task. I created this task. I created the task to create the user information entry page. What is the next thing which I need to do? Write server logic to handle this request. That is what is the second task. What is the third task? Write the database logic to store user information. There are two more tasks which I need to create. That is what I will create. I hope you are getting it. I will say task. I will go ahead and say write server logic. To handle the task. I'll add the same thing instead of writing too many things there, and I'll add it to the same user story. I'll say okay, save. I've added two tasks. I need to create the third task. That is the database logic. That is what I'll create. I'll go back. I'll create another task. And the DB logic to store user information. User information goes to server. From server it goes to database. So I add that. I'm just copy pasting it. I'll have other description here, and I'll add it to the existing market. What is the existing market? User story. Then I go ahead and say save. I created three tasks. So first task, second task which I created, third task. Which I created. Look at how things came until tasks. So this is what you need to understand when you are working on a Scrum model or an Agile model. How do you work and how do you create tasks, and how do you understand the requirement and create stories or tasks for that requirement. This is very important for a software engineer, so that he can start working on the inputs given to him by the PO and the TL in the epic and in the futures. He should understand it and he should start creating the tasks appropriately. In the tasks, there is one thing which we missed. So in each of the tasks, these are three tasks. If I go to one task, I'll give what is the estimated original estimate which I think will take? How much time will it take for me to build this page? How much time will it take for me to build this page? That is what I'll see inside the original estimate. I'll go ahead and say it will take at least 8 hours. The remaining, I'll keep on reducing the time. Whenever I start working on this task, I'll keep on reducing the time by giving it in the completed text box. We'll see that. So, original estimate, as you see here, it is what is telling what is the number of hours I require to finish this requirement. That is this requirement. Starting to build the page. What is the time question? That is what I will say here. And any other thing integrated in build? There is nothing like a build as of now. We'll just say save. We're done.
Hello, Abdul, I have one question.
If I go back. Someone said something?
Abdul, actually this used to epics and this epics will be created by PO and what is that? The futures will be created by TL and user stories will be created by software engineer.
Right.
So where is as a DevOps engineer, where is our work will be starting? I mean, where is exactly?
Yeah. So as a DevOps engineer, you will fall here in the user stories part. You will be here inside the user stories. So a DevOps engineer is the software engineer. That is the guy. So here is where you will fall inside the user stories and tasks place. That is where you will fall. And this is what you need to understand. For a particular feature, what is the thing which I need to create? What is the user story which I need to create? If you don't have an idea of this, then there would be people who will help you out there. That is software engineers who are already there, good to help you out. But this is where you will fall inside the user stories. Software engineer, I mean DevOps engineer. That's what is a software engineer. There is nothing like a DevOps engineer tag inside the industry. You always call them software engineers. Got that? That is where you will fall inside the user stories.
Okay.
So, and this is where I'll give my original estimate. So essentially, whatever is the estimate, I'll take so many hours to complete this task. I'll say save. So keep on going to other tasks where we did not create any time. I'm just giving the time. Let me just see what I did not give estimate. I did not give estimate here. I will say 12 hours. Now if I go back and see this, it's pretty much cluttered and too many things. Because I wrote it like this, it is more clear to me. But if you see directly the work items, there are too many work items and too many things happening here. If I go to boards, that is where I get some clarity. Okay, he wants to have a user story. There is our user story, which is our top priority. How many tasks are there in this user story? There is a user story which will create. That's a user story. How many tasks are there? 3 tasks. You see the 3 here. I click on that. See the tasks. That is how you create your user story and tasks so that you can see it on the board. The board would be more clear. Work items, yeah, it is more cluttery and you don't know what goes where. I have to click on this and then see on the right hand side, okay, this guy's parent is this guy. So parent, child, you should see like this. Pretty difficult. If I go to boards, it's pretty straightforward. This is a parent. It has 3 user stories which needs to be worked on. If I click on one user story, I'll clearly get what is the thing which I want to create here. So this is the thing which I want to create here. So it's pretty clear when I click on those nodes of what is what. So pretty clear. So whenever you need to build clarity, you need to come to the boards page. boards page is where you will keep on moving the user story from one state to other. So you keep on moving it from one state to other whenever you are having in the board user story. So it was not having Abdullah Khan there. It was assigned to me once I moved it. If I remove that, you see that it is new and no one is assigned to it. I want to assign it to some engineer. I have two engineers. Right? I want to assign a user story to an engineer. That is SE1. Instead of SE1, now we have a name. I want to assign it to Abdullah Khan. That's the guy who is present. That's the only guy who is present here. So I will get only that suggestion. I'll just click on that search. I'll say, yeah, assign it to this engineer. Save. Once you save it, that guy will get a mail. Your mails will be configured on this portal. It will be in the setup process. Whenever this portal is being set up for you by the team, by your admin team, they would have the mails configured and attached to your mails. So whenever I am attaching it to some mail, you see the mail ID also. You see that? You see the mail ID at outlook.com. In the same way, Analyst era, if we are assigning it to some guy in Analyst era, you will be seeing at the rate analystera.com. So essentially, you will be clearly seeing that, and once you see that, you assign it and you save it. Once you save it, you will get a mail saying that so and so user story has been assigned to you. There is a thing. Shall we customize the board instead of active ready to QA completed? You add ready. Yeah, you can customize the board. You can have all that customization. Essentially, you will most of the time we will stick to this active, resolved, closed, and a few more things. You would not have any more filters apart from this. You would be having only these filters most of the time. If you don't want more filters, yeah, you can create more filters in this. You can have more and more columns to be declared here. But usually you would not have those many columns in a real-time scenario. You only will have new, active, resolve, and closed, or some other way. There are multiple ways. Yesterday we saw it, right? Scrum board. Usually you will not have so many columns. You will be having minimal columns. You see that yesterday also we saw this. You will be having only 1, 2, 3, or 4. You will be having 4 columns. What is the virtual board? It is also having 4 columns. So essentially you will be having 3 or 4 columns. I never have seen a Scrum board having 5 or 6 columns. So it's usually not practicable. You can't practice it. The more columns, the more confusing it is for the people. So they usually have these many columns. So I am saying assign it to Abdullah, and then it is a new, and this guy will start working on it on one of the user story. So I'll keep on moving this from new to active. Active is I have started my work on it, and I'm starting to work on what are the things which I'm working on. It's new. This is where your Scrum Master will get an idea. Abdullah has been assigned this user story. He understands it. By looking at here, it is active and this guy is working on it. User story has tasks. How many children he has? 3 children. User story has tasks. Which task is this guy working on? Click on this. It says new. Click on this. It says new. Everything says new. Everything says new. So your Scrum Master sees this and get confused. So he is not working on any of the tasks. He just took the user story. As a good software engineer, what I will do, I'll just click on one of the tasks. I'll make it active. And say save and close. Now, if at all anyone else is looking at the Scrum board, they'll clearly understand. Okay, among these 3 tasks, he is working on this task, the second task. So let him work on that task, and once he has worked on that task, okay. Once he has worked on that task and all the tasks are completed, 1, 2, 3, he will move the entire user story to completed. That is essentially completed in this term is resolved. I'm done with it. I have resolved my user story. I can change it like this by pushing and pulling using my mouse, or I can say it here. Inside this, I'll say closed. Look at how it moves. So it moves here. I'll say resolved. It comes here. Active. It moves here. So it's pretty intelligent. Nothing like I should use my mouse key and move the story from one place to other. I can use the status to move it to a specific thing. There's a question. We can't move a specific task to resolve state. No, we can move the specific task to resolve. Okay, only a specific task you are saying that. We can move it. No issues. Active. I can go to the task. Say things are resolved. I say closed. There is no resolved here. There is closed there. Look at that. It is struck off. So if anyone looks at this, in this user story, he is done with this. I'll go and click on this. I'll say closed. I'm done with it. So in this user story, he is done with 2 of the tasks. It is very clear. By just looking at that, that's why Scrum board is very important. Who is working on what and how many things are done. This is how I will know it. Once I'm done with all the things, I'll move it. I'll keep on moving it. So I'm closing the tasks which I have. That's why you get 2 of 3. You see that there? 2 of 3 tasks are completed. How many tasks are pending? 1. I'll complete that as well. I'll say closed. Save and close. Everything is completed. Now everything is completed, why should it be inactive? I'll move it to resolved. So it's a very clean way of working on a Scrum methodology. This boards and stuff which you have here is a very good way of tracking what your team is doing. So if I just click on the burn down chart, I will understand on what day who took what, because I did not work on it cumulatively over days, right? So I don't have any chart. Usually this chart clearly reflects what is happening in your team. In a day, how many tasks were closed, how many user stories are worked on, who worked on it, all of that I'll get it in the burn down chart. In this chart, this is the chart your Scrum Master will always be looking at. So he will always be looking at this chart and tracking the team. If someone is not adhering to the process, he will get a mail or Scrum Master will come and say, please update it. It will not be a fight. No one is there to scold you. So essentially, you will be just informed that please update your tasks. We are working, but my Scrum board is not reflecting it. Anyone can log into this Scrum board. It is not just your Scrum Master. Is it only your technical lead or Scrum Master? Your PO can come to this board and see who is working on what. Your technical lead can come to this board and see who is working on what. So essentially, there are multiple players who want updates, and having everything on the board is very clean. I need not go to Abdullah and then ask, did you work on this? He is very clear here. He is working on this, and let me make it pending. Active. He is working on this story, and this is in progress. That's why it is not struck off. He has completed this. Your technical lead need not come to you and do micromanagement. This is what people hate, right? What are you doing today? It is a very hated question. I know what I am doing and I can handle myself. And if you want any more information, just go to the Scrum board. It is very clear. I have completed 2 tasks and I am doing this task. What is this task? You just click on that. It will clearly tell you what I am doing inside this task. In the description, I would have written a pretty long description. I just did not write it just to save time. So it would be a pretty long description. I would have said everything there. I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things like I am saying here. I am very clear here, right? First one which I created. I am creating a user form which has first name, last name, mailing address, password, confirm password. I am very clear here what I am doing. This is how your tasks should look like. They should be very clear on what they are doing. So you will go ahead and create that, and you will start moving this to one section to other section. Now, coming to the next part of the story. It's a clean repository. I have 2 branches or 3 branches. Now I want to create a branch for this user story. Let us say I did not complete anything. This was just for demo, right? So I will not close anything. It's active. Everything is active. I just took it now, 2 minutes back. So everything is active. Now I want to create a user story for this. Now I will code for this user story. I will code for it. How do I do it? I will go to repos. I will create a new branch. What should my branch name be? What is the story which I want to work on? What is Abdullah working on? Use mail address authentication for org mailing address. So I'll create a branch name appropriately for that. I'll use the approximate naming convention there. I'll go to this, create a new branch. I'll give an approximate name. I'll say org mail. I'll not say capital letters. Org mail authentication. Branch names are not too big. They should be very cryptic. I am naming it appropriately according to my user story. And what is it based on? I'll base it on master. Depending upon master, build me this branch. That is what I am saying. Depending upon master. What is my foundation? Master is my foundation. Can I create a foundation on some other branch? Yeah. If you want another branch, if you want master clone, you want product branch, whatever branch you want to build on top of, that is the branch you select here. So I will say I want to select it by master branch. Look at this guy. This guy is what is pretty key. What is the user story I am working on? I am working on this user story using mail address authentication or mailing address. That's why I link this to this branch. Now you see why I create a new branch with a link to that particular user story. Then I say create branch. Now the user story which you have here and the branch are linked or mail auth. Look at that. Look at how beautifully I get all the information what I want. Let me just remove this guy. I don't know. This guy captures me a lot. I want clean screen. This should hide. I don't know why I can't hide it. And I'm not able to move it as well. I wanted to shrink this guy will expand it. It's not responsive. It got stuck. You can move around. Yeah. This user story has a parent. Parent is a feature and it has 3 children. And what is the branch on which it is working on? This is the branch on which it is working on. What does the code changes of that branch have? I can click on that branch. I can directly land on the page, on the coding page. Everything is interlinked. Without DevOps, you can't interlink things like this. Whoever wants to come and see what is happening in this user story, very clear view. How many children it has, what is its parent, what is the branch, and who is working on that branch. It's very clear. I can just click on that and see, okay, this is the branch wherein he is working on. When did he create this branch? who created this branch and stuff like that. All of that are present inside my. I can see the history. So when was it created? It was created on so and so date. Yeah, I created this long back. The other commit. What are the commits which happened onto this page? That is what is in the history. When was this branch created and stuff like that? All of that I can have it in my branch information. Inside my branch information, I can get all that information. But essentially, you will get a 360-degree view of what is happening with your code. So what did I do? I went ahead and just created a branch for my user story. How did I create it? I linked it for my user story. Now I will work on it. As a software engineer, I will work on it. Let me put it here. So I will start working on it. Let me just pull this. I am getting that branch in my Visual Studio. That is the exercise which I am doing now. I have a branch here. I have a branch here, or mail auth. Is this branch in my Visual Studio? No, because I did not yet take it. I am taking it now in my Visual Studio. Where is the branch which we created? 7 a.m. I think this guy. DevOps MVC. Let me just open and see if this is the branch. What are the branches I have here? Product modify feature. I think this is not the branch, or this is the branch. My master. Let me just check if I am connected to the right project or not. Okay, there is a video. Let me go ahead and check in this project. Product modify branch. Where is this project? I created it in some folder. I don't remember the folder now. Your project. So I created somewhere. Yours is 8 of 7. Yours was 8. Sample, not here. Angular. Not it. I don't have it here. I don't have it here. 5 PM is a different thing. I think it was here, but this is not what it is. So let me do one thing. Let me just dump this guy and create a new project here. Let me just go to cloud. Copy. Let me just get it locally. So how do I get it? I'm just getting that project because I don't have that project here. I just go to cloud. Paste the URL. Where do I want it to be created? That is what is key, so that we don't forget it the second time. I'll create your batch's name. I'll say 7 DevOps. Yeah, that is where I want this branch to be cloned. I'll say clone. I'm just cloning that repository. Let it just clone. It will take a minute because I can't find that repository locally. I created it somewhere. Now I can't find it. It will take a minute. Let us just wait. Let me just look at this. I got the entire branch. Let me just close it and open only the solution. I have opened the folder as well, which is not a good thing. So that's better. So I have opened the solution now. Inside this solution, I want to create one more project. Say, I don't like this project, so I'll just delete this project. I'll create one more project. I'll say right-click, add new project. What is my requirement? I want to create authentication, enable authentication in my project. That is what is my user story. What is my user story? I am software engineer 1. I am Abdullah working on this page, this user story. What is this user story? I need to enable authentication. That is what is the key thing, authentication. I will create a web application in the same project. I will say MVC auth. I will say OK. It will go ahead and ask me, do you want to use MVC? I will say yeah, that's what I want to use. It will take a minute. It will get all the packages. That is what you see on the left hand corner. Let it get the packages, Newton JSON, Newton soft, and blah blah blah. It will get many things. Let us just wait. All of this I am doing on the, I'll do it on the new branch. Okay. Just undo this. I'll go to my branch and do it, not on the master branch. I was pointing to the master branch. Let me just undo the changes. Let me see if I can switch to master to other branch. I can switch or not. Let me just check. I need to save. Let me see if I can switch. Yeah, I'm able to switch to the other branch. What did I do? You see the small one there. So I just hit this thing. You see this org mail auth. That is what is the new branch which I created. Org mail auth is the new branch which I created just now by associating to the user story which I am working on. I am working on this user story, I associated to it. Now I am linking my Visual Studio to the cloud story. There is a question. And I will expand this chat. Yeah. For every user story, we need to create a new branch. Yeah, you need to do it. How will we integrate these many into the main branch? How to resolve conflicts? That's what I'll do now. I'll do that. I'll resolve conflict and I'll merge it into the main branch. I'll do that. So you have this org mail auth, and I just deleted the existing project. I created a new project, and I want to enable authentication. How do I enable authentication? I will say one more package, NuGet package, which I want to add. I will add whatever is the packages which I need to add, and I will create one more controller. Say, I will not speak about C# or MVC or ASP.NET. That's not our purpose, right? So think that this is the controller which he added. and he enabled authentication in this container. Just think that. So he's done doing his changes. Now he will check in his changes to this project which is present here. Let me check in the changes. How does he check in? He has 53 changes. Now he wants to check in the changes. Let me just build it once so that I'm sure that everything is fine. Let me rebuild it. Everything is fine. It went fine, and the rebuild has succeeded. I will go ahead and check in this code. How do I check in this code? I'll go to changes. Again, go to home, go to changes. I'll see all the changes which I did. I'll check in this code. Authentication enabled. What is this? We have seen that. Commit all and push, commit all and sync. I'll say commit all and sync. It committed to my local repository. Now it is pushing to the remote repository. So that is what is the sync which is happening there. We have spoken about all those steps, right? I hope you remember it. Pulling the branch, pushing the branch. It's doing all that. I'm done. Everything is success. And if I go here and refresh my branch, success. So everything went fine and everything is merged inside the main branch. So everything is merged and everything is looking good. Now, what is the master branch having? The master is not a permission. Forget about it. What is the master branch having? It's having only one project, Azure DevOps. What is the branch which I created having? It is having Azure DevOps MVC auth. It is having two things. How do I merge? Just speak about it in a diagrammatic fashion. There is a master branch. This is my branch. I want to check in the code from my branch to master branch. This is my branch. What will I do? We have spoken about it. Raise a pull request. Asking him, please take my changes and dump it in the master. That's what I will do in the pull request. Is there an option here? It's directly giving you, I see new changes. Do you want to create a pull request? I'll say, yeah, that's what I want to do. Where do you want to merge? I want to merge with my branch to the master. My branch into master. I'll give a title. I'll give a title and I'll give a description. I'll say enabled authentication, tested it locally. Please merge the changes to master. I'll have a good description inside my description. Then I'll give the reviewers. Who are the reviewers? There is only one guy in my entire team. Usually, your reviewers would be your technical lead or your architect. Their names will be visible here. Because they have permissions on the master branch. You don't have it. But here I am the reviewer, I am the technical lead, I am the architect. So I just have one guy. I don't have a team. I'll select the technical lead's name. I'll say create. What are the changes it has? What is it merging? Look at what it is merging. All what it is merging is present here. Because I created a new project, so there are so many things which are being merged. I'll say create. Pull request is created. the technical lead should approve it. Because I am the technical lead, I am seeing it. So I'll go to pull requests. Look at this, created by me, assigned to me. If I was the software engineer, I would have only seen this. I would not have seen this. Assigned to me is seen by your technical lead. We will assign pull request to the technical lead. I am seeing assigned to me. Okay, I'll go there. I'm a technical lead now. I'll look at the changes. They look good. Everything is fine. If at all I have a problem anywhere, I'll go ahead and comment the code. So please modify. So instead of saying it here, why will I say it here? I'll search it, cancel. I hate this site thing. So I'll go to home controller. I'll say please create a model for this view because it is MVC. I am just giving a comment. I'll say comment. So I am giving a comment here. The other guy, that is the software engineer, this guy who is working on this user story, will get a mail saying that your technical lead has commented on your code. He will address the comments and he will fix the comments. Then he will write a reply. Because I am the technical lead, I am the software engineer, I will write a reply. Fixed the code according to your comments. That is what I will say here. Once I say that, I will say reply. He will look at my reply, he will say, okay, he has fixed it. Now he will go ahead and say approve, because I am happy with what is being checked in. I will say approve. Once approve is done, you see that green check mark there, saying your technical lead has approved. Whoever is the technical lead, it will be a green check box there. Once it is approved, I will complete the pull request. Complete the pull request is take my branch changes and dump it in the master. That is what is the complete the pull request. I will say complete. There are multiple things here. You should see squash, rebase, semi-linear merge. There are multiple ways in which you can do the pull request completion. Merge, it will merge the changes. Squash, what will it do? You will be having multiple check-ins into your branch. Squash will make it just one comment. Instead of having multiple comments, it will just squash it. Squash essentially what is it? We squash our juice, right? It will squash everything. It will squash everything and make linear history with only one single comment. It is very clear there. Only linear history with only one single comment is what is done in the squash. I will not go with the squash or rebase or semi-linear. I will just go with merge for it. And I will say, yeah, complete linked work items. You can complete the linked work items by completing it from the board, or I can ask it to be completed here. So my linked work items which are in progress, are they in progress now? Reload. What is a linked work item? It is in progress, it is active. I am telling go ahead and complete it here with this checkbox. I will say complete merge. The merge is complete. Now if I go to the master branch, how many projects I am seeing? Previously it was only one project, right? I am seeing another project now. MVC out. It was not there here. If you remember, if you rewind the video, it was not there here. Now I went ahead and added my changes into the master. So the merge is successful. You can see the output. My branch had 2. Now the master also has 2 projects. Instead of 2 projects, I will just delete this guy. I don't like it. I'll say commit. I'm deleting it directly in the master. Even in my branch, I'll delete the other guy. Okay, so that's one change which I did manually in the remote branch. So now I have what I require. I have everything in place, and I have addressed my user story. Now if you come back to the boards, who sent it from here to here? What happened? I checked box saying that complete my user story once the check-in is done. This was in progress. It was moved to completed by the Azure DevOps portal itself. Why? Because I set that in my pull request. Inside my complete merge, I set that myself. That is why it has moved to the closed section. This is how you work on your requirement. So if I click on my user story now, you see how clean it is. All of my check-ins which I have done are all present in my user story. How many check-ins I've done? 1, 2, 3. Whatever check-ins I've done. I did a merge also. Merge is also present. So all of my check-ins are present here. My parent present here. My child's present here. It's a complete 360-degree view. Without this, if I am using anything else without Azure DevOps, I have to get the 360-degree view. To get the 360-degree view, I need to go to at least 3 to 4 tools. For user stories, I'll go to Trello. For my repository, I'll go to GitHub. For my what is the other tool which is present here? For my linking of my code to my repository, there is no linking which is happening. I need to link it and create a table or a chart saying that this user story belongs to this and this was the commit which was happening. All of that is in one umbrella. So everything in one umbrella. That is what is the beauty of DevOps portal. Everything is in one umbrella. So I'm just going ahead and saying that close this. If you see the iteration tool, this is where I worked. You can see that it has 3 user stories and 3 tasks. That is what it is saying. If I click on that iteration, it will go ahead and give me all of the stories which are being worked on and who is working on it. This guy is working on it. If I just click on it, I'll see who is working on it, what is the check-in. If I just go back, all of the user stories which are closed in a particular iteration, who has closed it, what did he work on, all of these are given inside your user story. Just give me a minute, I'm getting a call. I had a call. So essentially, I get the 360-degree view of when I go to a particular iteration, how many stories are there which are closed and who has closed it. And if I just click on that, I'll get all the view I'm looking for. What are the related check-ins, parent, children. So that is what is your planning meeting and what happens inside your planning meeting and how do you plan, how do you create your epic features meeting inside your epic feature, who creates it and who creates the user story. And once the user story is created, how do you break it up into tasks? And once the tasks are created, how do you go ahead and code for it? How do you create a new branch? That's what we did, right? How do we create a new branch? How do you get this new branch inside your Visual Studio? Once you got it here, how do you check it in? By going to changes. That's what we did, right? By going to changes, I checked it in. Once it is checked in, I create a pull request. Once the pull request is created, I'll go ahead and review the pull request and dump the changes from my branch into the master branch. Once everything is in place, all my code went into the master branch. So that's your hierarchy, how your entire flow will look like, right from your planning meeting to you completing it end to end. Any questions you have here, which you need any clarification? I created one user story. There is another user story, right? I just did not create it. That Gmail and stuff. So is it clear now? Or, Do you want me to create another Visual Studio and raise another pull request and follow the process?
Can you show me how we will get this to Visual Studio?
Okay, I will get into Visual Studio, right?
Yeah.
I'll show you. So I'll clean it
Okay.
and then pull it again. That's what you want, right? Clean and pull.
Yes.
Okay. Let me do a clean pull then. I will do it in one of the dummy folders, not here. I'll go to sample.
So without this pull request, we can't push the changes into main branch, right?
No, you can't do it. The master branch will be having only a technical lead will be having the access. You should always raise a pull request. That's how it works. That's how Azure DevOps works. So I'll have dummy pull because I'm doing a dummy pull just to show you. Step number 1, go to Visual Studio. Let the Team Explorer come. Here, yeah, it came. I'll say clone. In the clone, go ahead and take the repository address. Where is it? On the right hand side. I'll say click. I'll get the repository address. This is the repository address. I'll say copy. I copied the repository address. I'll give it in the clone URL. Where should I clone it? I want to clone it in the dummy path, which I created just now. Here, dummy path is empty. Dummy pull, it is empty. I'll say clone. That's how I created the connectivity. You see the dot get immediately created in dummy pull. Once this everything completes, you will have all the folders created. You got that? So all the things are being pulled. It will take a minute or so, depending upon your internet speed, because you are downloading it. It's like your video download. You're downloading stuff. You've downloaded everything. You see Azure DevOps, and you see I got everything, whatever I require. I got everything and I connected. I'm connected now to from my local branch, from my Visual Studio. I'm connected to the remote branch. I'm connected to this guy. That's how you clone it. That's what is called as a clone. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. So any other questions you have before we move to the next topic? Anyone? No questions?
Not as of now.
I'll just move on. So going to the commits. What do we have in commits is what is the history of commits which are happening to your repository. It is just me, that's why you just see Abdullah and Abdullah Khan, only that. Usually you will be having the commits history will be pretty huge. It will be having so many people who has committed, and if I click on any commit history, what are the files which are committed in this repository at this commit? All of that history is maintained. So it is, if you are working with any other repository like DFS or Git or anything else, it is similar. It is nothing different. It is absolutely the same. It is giving me the history of what are the things which are checked in a particular commit. So commits will have the entire history. Same here. If I go here, home. If I just look at one of the files, I'll say packages.config. When was this checked in? This packages.config. Who checked in? This guy has checked in. What is it that he addressed? He has addressed the authentication in this. At what time did he check in? Each file will have a history. Here, the history is for the entire branch. How many things are checked in and what is the check-in looking like? So it is the history of the entire branch. I can have multiple ways in which I can look at the history because it is a very big project in your real time. You cannot make out what is happening when. if you are interested in a particular date, I'll just say, yeah, from 1st of May to yesterday, how many check-ins happened? No check-ins happened on this branch, on the master branch. Just today, there was a check-in. That's where it will pull all the check-ins. So if at all you want to specifically look at a specific check-in or a specific date, you can filter. And you want to clear filter, just click on that. All your entire history is available inside this commits node. How many commits you have done? All of that is present inside the commits node. Then you have pushes. What is the pushes? Essentially, there is a push and there is a pull. And whenever you are doing a sync, you are doing push and pull both. So, what is this push and pull and things? What is this telling? It is essentially giving you the clue that how many pushes happened and who are the authors who have pushed the code. Pushing code is something which is very important for me to track. Tomorrow something goes bad in my code. I need to know who is the guy who has checked in that code, because we need to track and we need to tell it to that guy so that he fixes it. Also, not only that, we want to grab the guy so that we can do some good sounding speech to him so that he doesn't do it again. So we will track him. Nothing is untracked. Even a single line of code or even a comment which you check in, everything will have a history, and I can clearly see who did this and where did it make a mistake, so that we can grab the guy. Because in a team we'll have 5-6 people or 10 people. We don't know who is checking in what at a given day. But if something goes bad in my production or in my environments, like we have multiple environments, right? QA, staging, IAT, pre-production, all of that. Anywhere anything goes wrong, I can track the things, because I very clearly, Git gives me what is where and how many files are tracked and stuff like that. Everything is very clear inside Git and inside the pushes. It's very clear how many check-ins happened and what are the things which are changed. That is your pushes branch, pushes node. Then you have your branches. How many branches are created and who created these branches? Everything is just me, because I am the only one working here. In a real-time scenario, you will get many names here and many branches here. Each branch would be having its own user story. Take it as a fundamental rule. Any new user story you are working on, you will create a branch. That is a standard practice. You don't like it, then you can just work on one branch. But it's a practice. It's nothing like it's a hard and fast rule. You have to create it? No. You need not create it. It is just a good practice. So nothing like a hard and fast rule, and Git will not throw errors if you are working on the same branch for the past 1 year. No issues. You can keep on working on the same branch. But it is a standard practice for me to go ahead and work on a new branch for each requirement. It is very easy for me to maintain. And whenever I want to merge the changes from the new branch to the parent branch, how do I do it? It's in English by using a pull request. Just now I raised a pull request. So that's why I keep on giving you theory as well as practical. So nothing is nothing what I say is just a blank statement. So all of it I keep a note of the points that you should know it, how it happens practically, and how it will look at theoretically, so that you can correlate things and it is easier for you once you hit the floor. And once you are working on some of the requirements, you should have clear understanding that, yeah, we know it. So you should have clear understanding of it. In the branches, it will show you what are all your branches. All will give you all the branches. Mine will give you only the branches which you have created. All will give you the branches which everyone has created. Here there is nothing like all. It is me. That's why it is just showing everything in that branch. Still, if at all you have any branches which are more than 3 months old, those are shown here. Why? I keep on creating new branches for each new feature. 3 months down the line, I would have created some 20 branches. Each branch has code. Master branch has code in it. And will the code be so simple? No, it will be very big set of codes. So each branch has code. Look at this, each branch will have code. When there is a branch and there is code which is present inside the branch, then you need to, after some time, you are overpopulating your repository. Your repository is Gap Azure DevOps. You are overpopulating your repository over time. So what you need to do, you need to maintain it. Just like your drive or your Google Drive. 15 GB, it will say you have stored all the files which and you have populated the entire storage. That is what it is saying after 15 GB. It is saying it will give you error. You cannot upload more files. In the same way, it is nothing like it has a limitation. It is a healthy practice that you delete the branches which are old. And Azure DevOps will clearly show you what are 3 months old. And it will list you here. Like it is listing things here. It will list you things here. And it will tell you what are the things which are older. So that you can go ahead and delete it right away. Most 99% of the times, I will delete all the stale branches. I don't want those branches. Because anyway I would have raised a pull request. Anyway I would have raised a pull request and all my code is already there in master. Why do I want this branch? I don't want this branch anymore. I'll delete this branch just for saving my storage. That is where you will be having your stale branches. Got it? So that's pretty much about what I wanted to discuss today. Tomorrow also I'm planning to have a 2-hour session so that we can complete more things within the 2 hours. So I hope you are fine with it. So we'll just carry on with 2 hours tomorrow also. We'll cover more things and we can close the number of hours and we can say goodbye to our discussion. That is what is the plan. Tomorrow also 2 hours. Any questions here? Until what we have spoken. Any questions you have? You can just shoot. If you have no questions, then we'll close for the day.
Abdul, whatever we are creating the branches, so after merging those branches to main branch, so you are telling that we need to remove those branches, right? So whenever I required, so what I've done, can I get it back?
See, whatever changes I have checked in from here to here, are they available in my masters? From this branch, when I raise a pull request and merge it in the master, are they available in my master? Yes. So I delete it. What's the problem? I always have my code, right? I have my code safe, even if I delete it. I don't delete it, fine, still fine. But most of the teams after 3 months, 4 months, your technical lead will start shouting and saying, please delete the old branches so that we'll have less storage. More storage, you will be charged for that storage. Your project will be charged. So we can save some cost because Microsoft will charge me. I can save some cost there. So I will just say delete this branch. Why do I need this branch? Even my code changes are present in master. They went nowhere. I can get it back from my master. So I need not be scared. I can safely delete it. Only if there is a pull request raised and you have merged it. If you did not raise a pull request and they are still there, never delete this branch. You want that branch. No matter how much your technical lead is shouting, you want that branch because you did not raise a pull request and merge the changes. Only if you have raised a pull request and merged the changes, you anyway have it here. Why do I need this? And delete it. Got it, right? It is just for maintaining your project, healthy project. That's why we delete branches. Any other questions?
Abdul, one more thing is, so pull request in the sense we are pulling the changes into branch, right?
Correct.
Or we are pushing the changes to main.
Yeah, pull is essentially you are the customer. So it is essentially, think of this like this. Master is somewhere up and you have kept your code down here in your laptop. think of this like this. Why, if you don't understand pull request, I'll put it this way. So I'll say like this. It is there in my laptop. I want this master is in the cloud. It is in the Azure DevOps portal. I want to pull this. So I'll say pull my code up. That is what is pull request. If at all you don't understand it side by side, I just am putting it here. So from my laptop, pull my changes into the master. That's why it is a pull request. That's why it is called as a pull request. Got it?
Okay.
So any other questions you have before we close?
I'm good now.
Okay. So I don't see anyone pinging as well. So I think we're good. We'll meet again same time tomorrow and cover the rest of the topics.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye.